Feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I am your host, D. Sam D, aka Sam Duzme Jr. Still have a voice. I'm a little surprised. Damn near 5 hours of live streaming yesterday. Thank you, Lamar. Thank you, round one of the NFL draft. We do got some liquids here just in case. A little kombucha, which has some ginger in it. We've OD'd on the ginger tea today. Got to. All right. Y'all see what it is. We're talking about round one winners, round one losers, round two best player available. A lot to go over. There is a new clip on the channel. We did about an hour of Lamar. We were live right here when everything happened. Condensed it to about half an hour so you can digest it. Clip is live on the channel. Ravens fans upset at me. I don't know what I ever did to them. Just try to tell them the truth. It is what it is. Not the first time I've had people think I'm one way and realize I'm another way. All right. Y'all see it. Off rip. So do we think Antonio Brown was trolling or not? Antonio Brown, y'all missed it? Antonio Brown tapped in. Excited to return to the NFL this year. Hashtag Ravens flock. Of course, he's trolling. Of course, there's no validity to it, but AB being AB has to make it about himself. So, of course, AB has to be in the mix and be seen. So, Antonio Brown had to make himself heard. There's a lot to go on there, but I just wanted to bring that in because that is something that I found humorous on the timeline when I was looking for stuff, trying to figure out where we're going to go today, who's got the most pertinent information, who's got the good winners and losers. To be quite honest, there's a lot of consensus on who won and who lost. And normally there's a lot of, conversation. Normally there's a lot of dissension in regards to who won, who lost, but everyone's kind of rolling, and I'm a little surprised that that's where we're at. But yes, we do have some winners and losers lined up. We have some winners and losers that are seen throughout here, and I will leave it up to y'all as we go through this and discuss. But there's one team that is almost categorically seen at the top of every winner list, and they're not that far from me. They reside in a state that's not that far from me. They're not a part of Tri-State, but they might as well be. It's the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles are categorically seen as one of the biggest winners from last night. They're just bringing in all the Georgia Bulldogs they can. Whoever got the horses, let's just bring them in. Let's just bring them in. And it's not even really about Sirianni. We know it's really about Howie Roseman. He is not for play. You see some other winners and losers there. But to me, when we're looking at winners and losers, you can't get no bigger right now than Jalen Carter going to the Philadelphia Eagles. And then they sprinkle in a little Nolan Smith on the back end. That's the part to me that's like, wow, because Jalen Carter, we thought about it. It was something I talked about here. Like, man, if they could find a way to get Jalen Carter, once it was clear that, Carter was going to fall down draft boards for whatever reason. Again, we had people trying to explain the way of how Jalen Carter, why he fell because of, his lethargic pro day, not wanting to talk to teams in the top 10. And I'm like, that to me does not really signify the real Jalen Carter. The man was just involved in an accident that killed a teammate and a team staffer. Could he be grieving? But no, because it's football and everything is football mentality, which is war mentality, and you have to have blinders on 24/7. No, now he comes tumbling down draft boards because he's an actual human. It doesn't care about, his pro day because the man was a part of something that took away the lives of two people that he knew personally. But because of that football war mentality, he falls right into the Eagles' lap, and the Eagles just keep building out that dominant D-line. Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Graham, Jordan Davis last year, Nakobe Dean last year, Jalen Carter this year, and oh, by the way, let's scoop up on the back end, Nolan Smith as well. There is a priority that the Eagles have that other teams are refusing to follow. If I'm a team in that division, or if I'm a team in the NFC, you have to start paying attention and maybe need to start blocking them from getting these players. The fact that the Bears moved back one spot just to scoop up an extra fourth rounder to allow the Eagles to get Jalen Carter when they could use Jalen Carter? Ridiculous to me. Yes, they need an offensive line help. Yes. And it's arguable if Wright is the correct pick at offensive tackle at 10. But you allowed a team that's in your conference to get better at a spot where they already had a strength at. Everyone and their mama knew if Jalen Carter gets close enough, the Eagles are going to do it. And Corey's in the chat early. How does Howie do it? Howie as in Howie Roseman. He does it because everyone else, no one cares about the trenches no more. He is bringing an old school philosophy into the evolutionized, modernized football. But even in this evolutionized, modernized football, the old school part still matters. You still need a good offensive line. You still need a good defensive line. And he has made it a priority. And we saw the stat last night during the draft coverage, and salute to y'all that pulled up for the watch along for the NFL draft, where Howie Roseman to this day has never drafted a running back, a cornerback, a tight end, or a linebacker in the first round. Now, you can argue about Nolan Smith, but they're going to use him as edge, so he kind of still gets to keep that streak alive. But in regards to, that shows you the positions that he feels are devalued. He's not going to waste, even though I would have loved to see if Jalen Carter's not there, if he would have took Bijan, like I believe Corey could have said he confirmed in the chat. But anyway, I would love to have seen if Jalen Carter wasn't there, what the move was going to be. Would Bijan have been so special in his eyes that he would have had to buck his own trend of never taking a running back in the first round? But Jalen Carter was there. The Bears gift wrapped him just to get a fourth round pick. Imagine giving up a 10. No, I'm not going to jump out the window and say Jalen Carter's going to be a Hall of Fame player, but understand when you put him around Fletcher Cox, Hassan Riddick, Graham, Nakobe Dean, and Jordan Davis, how can he not flourish? Because you're not putting all the pressure on him. He gets to come in and be a guy. He gets to be in a rotation. He might get 20 snaps, 30 at the max. Crazy. The Eagles do it again. So, another team. Well, that's one mock draft, right? That's one recap draft, right? Your man's Bill Simmons. Again, the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, it is just, and they talk about their strategy. What if we just take all the players from the most dominant defense in college football history? Yeah. Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, we ran down all the guys, right? So that's kind of what a lot of people, I tell you, it's a consensus. The Eagles for, back-to-back years have really cornered the market on Georgia Bulldogs. Now, when it comes to other winners, some are saying the Seattle Seahawks. And I love the explanation. I know why they're a winner for one of their picks, but it's the first pick is the one that I'm a little curious about, is them being a winner. So, Devon Witherspoon at 5. A lot of people were high on him. I was high on him. I just don't know if I would have took him 5. But Witherspoon has elite coverage skills, a feisty nature of play that makes him perfect for Seattle. He allowed just a 25.3 passer rating when targeted last season. Opposing quarterbacks were around 13 points better off just throwing the ball at the dirt. Every play than challenging Witherspoon's coverage. But it's that second pick, Jackson Smith-Njigba, that to me makes them also a winner. The consensus top wide receiver on the board. This is another person saying it's a weak year for wide receivers, but JSN was seen as the safest pick and a player who will be good. The only question is how big of a role he can have. For Seattle, which already has DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, his floor within that offense is incredibly high. I rarely saw a mock draft that had him make it as far as Seattle's second pick. So for them to snag him there is outstanding value. I echo those sentiments. And if you're Geno Smith, you have to be happy that you took that contract, because now you get to really cook if you're Geno. I mean, we saw what he did last year, and that was just with DK and Tyler Lockett, and I still don't think they played to the best of their abilities. Now you put in a JSN, who they could use in a bunch of different ways, and we know how both Metcalf and Lockett are known to be nicked up at times. Now you have a guy like Njigba who could slide in there and get some of those snaps if those two fall. So Seattle and Philly, I think, are easy winners. How come, though, and I'll come off the screen here for a second because I really want to set this up. How come, though, I am not seeing more about the team that I think really came and shocked us last night and was adept at moving around and making it happen, and I think give us the first big wow moment at the top of the draft? Make sure I close. A lot of pop-ups on these websites, so I just want to make sure I clear those out. The Houston Texans. How are the Houston Texans not being thought about in terms of big winners? And it's not just that they stood firm at 2 and took the quarterback, CJ Stroud. It's not just that. It's the fact that they were savvy enough to leverage their extra first-round pick, 12th overall, to get back up. And not just get back up into, that 5-6 range, which some people thought they might be able to get it. They were able to go from 12 to 3 and go and get the guy that they also had at the top of their board from the defensive perspective. DeMeco Ryans keeping it all roll tide, as he has, ties with Bama. So the fact that him, Will Anderson, Saban, it's all good there. And having CJ Stroud as being the QB. Very, very deft, very, very smooth, very, very exciting if you're a Houston Texans fan. Like, this here is what you do in a rebuild. Having multiple first-round picks, you're not always guaranteed to know what to do. But you could look at almost every team except one, and we'll get there in the loser section. Every team that had multiple first-round picks was able to do something significant with them. And that's how you maximize that. Sometimes you have that bottom, you get that top 10 first-round pick, and then maybe your next pick is in the 20s. It's not seen as a lot, but teams showed last night you can leverage from the teens and get back up into the top 10. That's not something that's been automatically thought of over the years. Corey's got shade early. They took a journeyman at 2. Okay, we're calling CJ Stroud a journeyman, all right? That is Corey, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to let him know what you think of that in the chat. I'm not on that type of time, but the fact that they were able to get CJ Stroud and Will Anderson in back-to-back picks, who you could argue for them probably was the best QB, and definitely you would assume with the way that DeMeco Ryans gives it up with, Will Anderson being the top guy on their defensive board. And again, you see how they put linebacker there. They're sneaking linebacker in there. I kept telling you, I wasn't comfortable with him being an edge. Now all of a sudden we're seeing that OLB being put next to his name a lot. And I'm like, see, I told you it wasn't an edge guy. But okay. Anyway, so Will Anderson goes 3. CJ Stroud goes 2. Those are now the linchpins for the Houston Texans organization. They will rise and fall as those guys go. You combine them with Pierce in the backfield. They still have no receivers. Maybe they address that tonight in the second round. And, I think for them, they take advantage of the rebuild. And there was a debate, myself and Corey and some others were in regards to what is rebuilding and what is retooling, you know, and which is which. The Houston Texans are rebuilding. This is a complete gut job, and now they're rebuilding with these multiple back-to-back first-round picks. And I think they did a good job with what they had. Corey letting you know that the Texans are going to run a 3-4. He's an outside linebacker. I mean, I think that should be his position regardless. Regardless. I don't see him as an edge. I never did see Will Anderson as an edge, and that was always my biggest bugaboo. So D'Amico Ryan's going to run a 3-4. He's going to have a Will Anderson run that outside linebacker position. I think that's the best position for him. I never believed this smoke about him being an edge rusher. That's when Chris Sims jumped out the window and said Will Anderson's the 5th best edge rusher. Yes, he was doing it for clicks, but I also understood what he was talking about, because I'm like, yeah, I don't have that much faith in him as a OLB, as a edge rusher anyway. So I agreed with him on that point. Okay. Arizona, another winner. Did anyone get to Kyler Murray while he was playing COD last night to let him know that his team went and got the offensive lineman, Paris Johnson Jr., that he specifically said to get? It's the first time a GM has listened to him when he has suggested an offensive lineman. Big move, and plus the fact that the Cardinals went from 3 to 12 to 6. It just shows that these moves can be done. When, you know, your favorite team tells you post-draft, oh, we tried, but we couldn't get it done. What the Arizona Cardinals were able to do, what the Houston Texans were able to do, should let you know that that's bullshit. It should let you know without a shadow of a doubt that that is absolutely bullshit, because the Cardinals were able to bounce twice within the top 12 picks and still get the guy that they wanted. How many times do we remember that happening, where a team moved back, then moved up within a matter of minutes and got the guy that they wanted? So, you know, I think there's a lot of... The Cardinals are also an organization that is doing a rebuild. And it's going to be a gut job. They just haven't had the guts to really start the gut job. Once they get D-Hop out of there, then I think it really begins. I mean, they'll be stuck with Hollywood Brown as their number 1 receiver. So that'll let you know that, yeah, they're in a rebuild. But y'all let me know in the chat, who was y'all biggest winner? Who was y'all biggest loser? Right now, we're sticking with winners, so let me know in the chat, who was your biggest winner in this draft? Well, again, just round 1, but who was the biggest winner from last night? I'm throwing the nominees out there of the Houston Texans, the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm even going to put in the Arizona Cardinals because of the fact that they got the lineman that their franchise quarterback said that he wants. We'll take it from there. I see Thomas is in the house. What's up, Thomas? He also pulled up last night. Appreciate you. Houston had a great draft. Ryan's trying to get his defense like he had with the 49ers. Word. And it starts with Will Anderson. And let's see if we could get a updated draft board with the updated order. Man, I'm really surprised I have a voice right now. I thought I was going to be done up. All right, let's see. This is an ugly. See, when websites are ugly like this, it is hard to use them. This is just an ugly website, dogs. All right, let me switch that up. Let me go to our old reliable. Go to old reliable. Let's see. Do we have an updated big board? I don't think this big board's been updated 23 hours ago. No, I don't think they updated it. No, I don't think they updated it. All right. I will not be live streaming tonight for the second and third round. Way too much going on behind the scenes. All right, we'll use this. It's a little clean. It's a little basic, but we'll use it. Okay, so when we're looking at tonight, the Steelers are on the spot. You know, the Bears would have been here, but they want to chase Claypool. So the Steelers are instead the first team on the clock. A lot of teams have been vying for that spot. There's been a lot of stuff being said already that a lot of teams want Will Levis. Will Levis, who will not be there tonight. He will not. Will Levis has reportedly decided not to attend day 2 of the NFL draft, so you will not see Will Levis in the green room as he sat there damn near 4 hours, and who knows how long they made them get there prior to the actual start of the draft last night. So no Will Levis tonight as y'all watch the TV coverage. Jim Irsay, though, I'm surprised his tweet is still up. I don't know if he knows what he did, but this is what Jim Irsay is doing right now. Colt fans, would you take Will Levis at 2 if you're on the board for the Colts at 4 hours from now? And go Montana Young for the franchise. This is what the owner of the Indianapolis Colts is asking. He wants to know if they should draft Will Levis with the second overall pick. Or excuse me, I guess the 4th overall pick in round 2. I don't think Will Levis will be there. I think that there's going to be a trade at the top here for someone who somehow desperately wants Will Levis. Will Levis allegedly dropped because of a toe injury and the validity of the healing process of that toe injury. Again, did we hear any of this from the experts leading up to this draft? I don't recall it. If y'all do, let me know. I don't remember hearing anything about a toe. I remember a smear campaign started by Brady Quinn on CJ Stroud, and everyone took that and ran with it, from him allegedly ghosting the Manning Passing Academy from over a year ago. I heard all about that. But no one with all these sources, no one, these insiders, these draft gurus, all the combine stuff, pro days, interviews, on-site visits, so on and so forth. No one unearthed the tea about Will Levis's toe. Okay. Thomas. Saints with the trade helped the Eagles too. Yup. They the team to beat until someone show how to stop them. Yeah, it takes a Mahomes and Kelsey to beat them. As of right now, anyway. That's the only thing that could really get in their way. It's a Mahomes and Kelsey. I think it's going to be, I just don't understand it. For a league that predicates itself on being a copycat league, I don't know why anyone isn't copycatting what the Philadelphia Eagles have been trying to get off. Or why no one is trying to block them. We used to see that back in the day in the draft where division rivals would purposefully block teams in their division from getting the draft pick off. We've seen that. But now, the Bears, y'all want Jalen Carter? All right, we're not going to do it, even though our D-line is Swiss cheese. Sure, you can take him. Just give us an extra 4th round pick. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. There's a lot on the timeline today, but a lot of it is just rumor-based. We got the Jim Irsay nonsense. We have the Will Levis not showing up. We got the Lions taking calls on DeAndre Swift. You know, that's apparently a thing, especially now that they got Gibbs that they drafted last night, the second running back drafted. So it's a lot going on. And if we were to believe the nonsense from last night, the Raiders, Titans, and Falcons were attempting, quote, desperately to trade up to the bottom of the 1st round. Per Mike Florio in Pro Football Talk. Now, we can assume this is because of Will Levis. But again, what were you willing to leverage to move up to get Will Levis? And let's look at the Raiders, Titans, and Falcons as we're looking at the top of the second round. Raiders. Oh, what? They got the 7th pick of the second round. Falcons, they're down there. And Titans. So, yeah, they're going to have to move up. I think Will Levis goes relatively high. I mean, who says Detroit doesn't take him? That's good value. With Jared Goff, you can have Will Levis learn. You can get that toe healed up because you know he's not going to play for at least a year, if not 2, with Jared Goff. Why wouldn't the Lions do it? Low key, if he gets to the Jets, why wouldn't the Jets do it? But again, I don't think he gets past Tennessee and the Raiders if that happens. And Green Bay with 2 picks here in the second round, one being the 42nd being the one that they got from the Jets in the Aaron Rodgers deal, they're poised in position to make something happen. The Bears also have multiple picks in this second round. Bears have 2 second round picks, excuse me. Bears have 2 second round picks. So you're looking at teams that could move up just to make something happen. Jalen Hyatt still on the board. I thought the Bears should have at least thought about maybe taking JSN. Do the Bears, who need a lot of help, but also could really overwhelm with their offense, could they leverage their 2 second round picks to move up and possibly target a Jalen Hyatt? Thomas, no, I didn't hear about that either. Yeah, that Levis injury kind of just went under the radar. No one was really talking about it. No one was talking about it. No one. All right, so we have that there. It kind of feels like the calm after the storm. And if we want to look back at this mock draft we had yesterday that we was kind of leveraging, got a lot right here. And I'm not taking credit for this, but just if you turns in Falcons getting Bijan at 8, got that. Jalen Carter to the Eagles, even though it was at 9, not 10, got that. Close with Zay Flowers. But again, if you would have told this guy that, you know, JSN was going to be available at 20, then yeah, you put him there and then began to run on wide receivers. Michael Mayer also available. So yeah, I think it's a real smooth day today. I don't really foresee anything too crazy in this upcoming second round. More AB. Let's just surf. Because I think when it comes right down to it, all right, Jim Irsay is still on that type of time. That's a really weird thing. I don't know why nobody is really talking about that too tough. Gio Bernard announces retirement. All right, so there's not a lot there. Okay. So we have the Eagles seen as winners, the Texans seen as winners. I think the Lions are losers. I think drafting Gibbs at that spot, to me, doesn't really make a lot of sense. A team that has multiple first-round picks burns one of them on a running back. I was not happy with, I mean, the Lions are always going to Lions, so I'm not really that pissed off per se. But in regards to understanding how that worked, I was very surprised that they jumped out the window like that and took a running back. Results 2023 draft. Yeah, I'll bring some grades up and we'll go like that. Yeah, this works. Okay. All right. Y'all can see that, right? Yep, I can see that. Let's go as big as we can with that. Okay. All right, so not really worried about Bryce Young. Not really concerned about that. We know how that's going to work out. Again, I think the Texans are big winners in regards to getting Stroud and Will Anderson. Anthony Richardson, I think, is a winner personally. I don't know if the Colts won because, the Colts have some work to do with Anthony Richardson. I think skill-wise, the potential is all world and it's all right there. It's up to the Colts organization, front office, training staff, coaching staff to tap into that. Losers, I'm going Seattle, even though Seattle got, the best receiver in the draft at 20. Taking Devin Witherspoon at 5 to me is a hell of a reach. The Arizona Cardinals going with Paris Johnson Jr. I think that's a win because of the fact that they traded back, got some extra collateral, and was able to use some of that collateral to move back up to get the guy that they ultimately wanted anyway. And I remember I was saying, I just didn't like taking Paris Johnson at 3. I liked him. I liked taking him a lot better at 6. The Raiders go out here with Tyree Wilson. They could have went Levis, but I guess they had some issues with the foot, the toe, or whatever. They didn't do it. The Atlanta Falcons, low-key could be winners. And this is a highly controversial pick because if your team devalue running backs, then you're not necessarily high on a team that you could argue has a lot of holes, taking a running back at 8 when you have an Algiers, when you have a Cordell Patterson. However, to me, taking Bijan at this spot is really smooth for them. Because again, it's tinkering. They feel they have their quarterback. I disagree, but they feel they have their quarterback. Cool. They have Drake London. They're going to get Kyle Pitts back from injury. Now you bring in Bijan Robinson, who they're talking about lining him up outside. Who knows what he could be? He could be a Deebo Samuel type if they really get funky with this offense. So if they're going to utilize him like a Deebo Samuel, yeah, that would be someone you would want to take top 10 in the draft. Because it's not just about being a running back anymore. It's about just being a weapon. And I think that's where the mix is. If you're talking about you're just going to have Bijan, I form, a 3-down running back in I form, then yeah, you don't take that at 8. You don't take that at 8. But if you're going to use him in dynamic ways, put him in spaces, just get the ball in his hands as many ways possible, pause, then I think, okay, now I can see the rationalization for taking a running back that high. Because if you're going to use him like Deebo and move him around, line him up outside, so on and so forth, now you're making him just a weapon, not just a running back. And Corey's not a fan of the Falcons going Bijan at 8. Atlanta pulling Atlanta. Jalen was there. Yeah, but I don't see them. I don't think Jalen would have been a fit for them anyway. I mean, they still got Grady Jarrett, right? I don't think they really run a lot of multiple 3 technique sets anyway. I could be wrong on that, but I don't really recall seeing that. But I think it's more about what they plan on doing with Bijan. Because, Cordell Patterson, you got a little semblance of what they could do with a running back because of the fact that he's a converted receiver running back. And Algiers just doesn't bring that. He's more of your traditional straight-ahead north-south runner. So now you kind of bring a guy in Bijan who could be the best of what Cordell Patterson can be and also can do what Algiers can do in one person. Potentially. Projecting. So I think it's a good move going forward to have Bijan Robinson just be that catch-all. I don't have a problem with it. I actually like the pick, but I know a lot of people feel that the Falcons are losers because of the fact that you don't take a running back this high in 2023. Corey saying Grady Jarrett is cooked. I mean, okay, I don't think the Falcons feel that way. Jalen can play in any defense. Yeah, I'm not saying he can't play in that defense. I'm just saying I think the way they use the defense, I don't think they would use Jalen that well. So it's not necessarily a Jalen thing. It's a them thing. But they still got a lot of faith in Grady Jarrett, and now they just went and got Calais Campbell. So I don't know where Jalen, yes, you could work a rotation, like he's going to be in a rotation in Philly. But I think that rotation makes more sense in Philly than Atlanta. I think they want Grady Jarrett and Calais Campbell out there all 3 downs, which then means what are you doing with Jalen Carter? Whereas we know in Philly, they rotate those dudes in every other play. Keep all them guys fresh. Thomas. I don't like that pick. Saints gonna have to come with it. They're gonna have to face. They're gonna have to face that. They're gonna have to face Bijan and Drake London and Kyle Pitts, twice a year. That's not easy. That's not easy. So yeah, I feel you. Thomas didn't want the Eagles to get him either. I mean, look, I think at some point, I think somebody smart was going to take him. I don't think he was going to last past the Eagles. I think unless Jalen Carter was gone, I think that would have been the only way they would have took Bijan. But if you give the Eagles the choice of Jalen Carter or Bijan, they're going to go Jalen Carter every time. Now, if Jalen Carter wasn't going to be there, then I think that's when they might have considered, to take a running back there. Losers. I think the Bears, as of right now, is a loser with Darnell Wright at 10. The fact that they allowed the Eagles to take, Jalen Carter at 9 when they could use him themselves, and all they got for it was an extra 4th. Silly move for Ryan Poles. But again, if Darnell Wright comes in and do his job, no one will care unless Jalen Carter goes to be what we think he's going to be years from now. Then it will look stupid. Even if Darnell Wright is serviceable, maybe claws out a couple of Pro Bowls, cool. But if Jalen Carter goes on to be as special as we projected him to be, it's going to look like a really silly move that you just asked for a 4th-round pick to pass on Jalen Carter. The Titans have to be losers because they didn't get C.J. Stroud. The Titans are losers because they tried to move up, but they did not have the collateral to move up. There was that silly trade that got announced right before we got off the first stream yesterday in regards to where the Titans were going to receive the 3 pick and DeAndre Hopkins. And we never got word of what the Cardinals were going to receive. I think it was just a weird trade, but it happened. It was a thing. But I think the Titans being unable to trade up to get C.J. Stroud, and then we saw the report earlier in the stream today of they were trying to move up to get up to the bottom half of the first round and couldn't do it. Again, they have a rookie GM. Rough go of it for rookie GMs. And again, we touched on the Lions, right? So the Lions, with what they could have put together, they have Gibbs there at 12. And then they get Jack Campbell at 11. You could argue both of those are reaches. Gibbs at 12 is a reach, and Campbell at 18 is a reach. Campbell had a 2nd-round grade or a low 1st-round pick at best grade. You take him at 18. And then you go for the 2nd running back. When the 2nd running back was projected also to go late 1st round, you take him at 12. When there was arguably no competition to take him at 12. Lions lioned. Other losers. The New England Patriots. You could say that this is a value pick, them getting Gonzalez at 17. But I think the problem with that roster is offense, and they passed on JSN. They passed on JSN. They passed on all. I mean, I guess the only receiver they could take first. Well, I mean, they could have took another receiver first, but not taking the consensus number 1 wide receiver, silly move. Mac Jones, I mean, good luck with that. Or even if it's your man Zeppy, good luck with that. Like, that is problematic as hell for them to still go DB. At least they didn't go Joey Porter Jr. like all the mock drafts for months had said they were going to take. They get arguably the 1st or 2nd highest rated DB on the board. So it is what it is. You can make a case that the Commanders are losers. Going again, Eric Bieniemy. You just lured Eric Bieniemy to pull up, and he has Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett to work with. Is it Jacoby? Who's over there in Washington? Is Sam Howell and who? I'm blanking. Let's look that up real quick. It's for sure Yeah, Jacoby Brissett. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Just make sure I wasn't bugging. And again, you had Will Levis there. You could have went. You also could have went Hendon Hooker. I see Thomas putting in the chat. He hopes the Saints can get Hendon Hooker today. He'll be in the mix. And I've seen a lot of conversation of will Hooker go before Will Levis. So Thomas, that might be a thing where if the Saints really want him, they might have to move up. They might have to move up. A lot of people are saying they think even Hendon Hooker, and they know he's more healed. If this toe thing is that bad to make Levis fall out the first round, and Hendon Hooker is more further along in his recovery than Will Levis, then yeah, I could see Hendon Hooker going off the board before Will Levis tonight. I'll sneak in another winner. I think the Ravens getting Zay Flowers. You know, especially after Quentin Johnston is off the board. I think getting Zay Flowers, and Lamar was very much active on the Elon app last night. He was very much pro the Zay Flowers move. He was very excited about that. So, you know, he got his bag, even though it's funny money. But, you know, he's tapped in even on draft night, and they added yet another weapon for him, Zay Flowers, at 22. So I'll give Lamar Jackson being the winner there. You get a bag of sorts, and then your team continues to give you more weapons. I'm surprised Corey's not saying Dallas is a winner because they finally went D-line, but, you know, he's laying low with who he thinks is winners. In the bottom of this first round, I'm not really going to say that the Chiefs are losers because there was no real offensive weapons left unless you would have said to have them take Myers or Mayers to pair with Kelsey, but I think them going D-line, you can't get enough D-linemen in this league, especially on the edge. And he's a guy, Azuma, he's a guy that I really like on film. I'm not going to sit here and say I watch Kansas State games, but what I did see of him when he was spot shadowed, I really did like. Thomas, I think the Steelers may get Porter Jr. I mean, that makes the most sense, right? Since his pops played there for so long, that makes the most sense. Let's see. So we got the draft board here. Steelers are picking first, then the Cardinals, then the Lions, Colts, Rams. The Rams finally get the draft. Seattle again, Raiders. Yes, Corey, you don't like the Dallas pick? I saw you tweeting about the Dallas pick on last night. So you must be very excited for you. There must be a winner. They finally addressed D-line and interior D-line at that. Let's see. It's going to be interesting to see what players, because if we're looking at the big board of who's still available, right? Michael Mayer, still available. Joey Porter, still available. Will Levis, still available. Darnell Washington, he's a guy a lot of people were trying to sell me on low key. Darnell Washington out of Georgia, a lot of people were trying to sell me on in terms of a guy that could be a sleeper. He's a guy that most likely will go in the second round. Hey, Thomas, give me a rundown on BJ Ojulari. Give me a rundown. Is he your traditional edge guy, or is he a tweener? Can he play inside? Chris Smith. I've heard people talk a lot about Chris Smith. It's only the first round, right? So there's clearly a bunch of guys that are like high caliber that are going to be available in the second round. There's going to be a lot of future stars here. This is my guy Greg Larnard's best receiver, Cedric Tillman. He actually thinks Cedric Tillman is better than Jalen Hyatt. So that could be something to watch for tonight. Do we get a little UT beef between Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman? Mozzie already off that board. Okay, Dallas is a winner, but it's more picks ahead. Okay. Corey's being humble today. He's being humble. His team actually did something that he liked, so he doesn't want to jinx it by talking too much. Yeah, you see Jalen Hyatt there. 86 prospect. Wow, they have him way behind Cedric. That's interesting. Most mocks have not have that big of a disparity between Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt. That's interesting. All right, yeah, let's go by position. Let's see. Let's get quarterback, right? Okay. So Will Levis. Wow, this is some interesting rankings here. They got Hendon Hooker down at 200, the 10th rated quarterback? Just because of the injury? Nope, I didn't say all players. I said quarterbacks. Thank you. Okay, there we go. That's weird to me. Why would they do it like that? Will Levis at 4, Tanner McGee, Clayton Tune. All these guys ahead of Hendon Hooker? Just because of the injury? I'm not rolling. And why does that keep changing? These fancy websites, they can't just make it simple. I just want to scroll. That's it. Okay. I think there's no way that all these quarterbacks get taken before Hendon Hooker. And if not, then you know what we going to talk about. If I see Jaren Hall go before Hendon Hooker, we riot on Monday. If I see Jaren Hall go before Hendon Hooker, we riot on Monday. DTR is probably going to have to wait a while. I can see DTR having to wait a while. Okay, we're getting some analysis from Thomas. LSU used him as end. He's an edge, but he's probably will be a linebacker in the league. Okay, see, that makes sense. I like that analysis. Thank you for that. Because I think a lot of times there's a lot of players that get pigeonholed because, you know, I see DE, I think edge. But you're telling me he projects to be a linebacker in the league. And again, I'm telling you, I think that there's a lot of tweeners like that in today's league that we're not really paying attention to. I know it's a lot better to be it's a lot better valuable. It's a lot better monetarily, financially to be a Hassan Reddick more than a Roquan Smith. But a lot of these dudes are more like Roquan Smith than Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is an anomaly to me. Okay. Let's see where we go. Give me 1 second. I'm getting word that there's potentially some tea. Let's see. Just check the usual suspects. Okay. On his visit with the Colts, Shane Steichen, I believe that's how you say it, told Anthony Richardson he envisioned using him a bit like he did with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Can't do no rugby scrums anymore, so how else is he going to use them? And he damn sure doesn't have a Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown. So how else is he going to use them? Okay. Let's see. This is interesting. The Ravens ranked dead last in usage of 11 personnel last year. With Zay Flowers, OBJ, Rashad Bateman, and Todd Monken calling shots, they should rank much higher next year. And by the way, Cincinnati defense and Cleveland defense both ranked bottom 10 versus 11 personnel plays. Pittsburgh ranked bottom 10 versus 11 personnel passes. So, if they go 11 personnel next year, based off that, they should be highly successful. I'm telling you, Sharp Football really just be thinking outside the box and give you some real data. Love this handle, and they really bring the information and give you the insight. Let's see. Do we want to go with a day 2 mock draft? Let's go to day 2 mock draft. Let's see. Feel like we're all like hungover from the 4 hours last night. Let's see. Oh, this website needs some work. Okay. Can I not zoom out and do that? Gonna be nice or not? Okay, I guess I got to zoom out a lot. Okay. Hopefully I can read it. Where's my little mouse thing? Maybe I'll get that. Hang on. Because they made me zoom all the way out. So then let me get the little zoom mouse thing. Okay, there we go. Bring that back. All right. So according to the good Lord, where's Will Levis on this? Will Levis doesn't get drafted in the second round? I mean, this is the same dude that hit on a lot of those picks last night. He doesn't think Will Levis is going to be drafted at all in the second round either. That would be the fall of all falls, dog. Jalen Hyatt, he has him going to the Packers. Okay. Mayer to the Packers. That's a coup for the Packers. If they could walk away with Mayer and Jalen Hyatt, like that is a win for the Packers. To be able to leverage those 2 second-round picks, that would make them real big winners to me. That's interesting. I love that. Good thing I'm not a Bears fan anymore. I love that for the Packers. Jordan Love would get weapons, real weapons on day 2. He got D-line yesterday in round 1 with Van Ness. But now he's getting actual weapons that he could use offensively day 2. I love that for them. Would y'all be shocked if Levis doesn't go in the second round? Like, have we reached that point now? No other names really jump out as like a big jump or a big shock. Just the Packers being able to get off Michael Mayer and Jalen Hyatt, that would be impressive to me. No quarterbacks at all in this second round, by the way. It's not just that Will Levis isn't being drafted, but there's no quarterbacks at all. No Hendon Hooker, no anything. Okay, he has his explanation. No quarterbacks in the second round. That's typically what happens. Quarterbacks with second round grades get pushed into the first. So we often see a long wait until the next guys come off the board. Over the past 8 years, there have been 5 second round quarterbacks and 13 in the third round. Oh, okay. Hey, at least he's got some information to back it up. At least he's got some data to back it up. And that's why I rock with sharp football analysis. He's also saying expect a lot of cornerbacks. The Steelers and Cardinals could potentially kick off the day with back-to-back cornerbacks, and the run could continue. It's arguably the deepest position group, and there could be as many as 10 coming off the board on Friday. Also expect a run on tight ends. Somewhat surprisingly, only 1 tight end came off the board in the first round. A reason could be depth at the position. Buffalo Bills first-round pick Dalton Kincaid stood out from the pack for his receiving skills, but most of the others are similar well-rounded players with lower upside for the passing game. Notre Dame's Michael Mayer is expected to be first off the board, and as many as 4 others could follow him in the second round. Is Bro from Georgia in this second round? Let's see. Yep, Darnell Washington. There he is to the Patriots. Okay. Oh, look at Corey with the bona fides. I stood next to BJ. He's a 3-4 outside linebacker, nothing else. Okay. Talk your shit. Big stunt talk. Thomas, some mock drafts had us getting Mayer. Yeah, that doesn't appear to be the case. They have y'all getting Josh Downs from Carolina. What Dallas do round 2 for Corey? Where y'all pick at? Linebacker, Trenton Simpson out of Clemson. One of the Dad boys. Thomas here. That would be a shock considering how high he was projected to go. Yeah, but to the guy's point, if he's telling us over the last 8 years, there's only been 5 second-round quarterbacks compared to 13 over that same time span, then okay, then he's done the science. So I'm rolling. Now for round 3. Is this where we get, oh boy, if the Bears get Cedric Tillman, 3rd round? Based off how, the homie Greg Larner was selling me heavy on Cedric Tillman on Wednesday. If the Bears able to fall, or if he's able to fall to the Bears at the top of the 3rd round, that would be a real big win for the Bears. Because I still think they need to add a few more weapons for Justin Fields. I don't think DJ Moore, I think DJ Moore certainly is the number one. I still have my concerns about Chase Claypool, and Darnell Mooney is coming off the ACL. So I think there's room there. I know St. Brown's brother is on the roster. I mean, come on. But Cedric Tillman, based off what the homie Greg Larner's been telling me, that seems something like could be feasible. 3rd round, Hendon Hooker off the board to the Raiders. Raiders get Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round. And Will Levis, 82 to the Bucks. There were bets on him going number 1 overall. And in theory, he could last to 82 with the Bucks. Nasty work. Nasty work. Yeah, that's about it in terms of big names. Big names to me, anyway. Let's see. Yeah, see, this is why I can't live stream tonight, because I would just be like, all right, I hear this guy's good, but we'll see. Like, yeah, this is just not as it's not as lit. 1st round is so lit because we know the bulk of these players. 2nd round, more of these a few more of these players, but 3rd round, that's when it starts to get like dead vibes for me, bruh. I won't hold you. So we got that. All right, let's see. Let's see what else we could pull up here. That was good by Warren Sharp and them. Let's see. Okay, so I have something here that I was saving for Corey because he's very much anti the Falcons getting this pick. If you want to use this as analysis to prove your point, so be it. Just remember where you got it from. The Falcons believing they needed Bijan when their scheme last year allowed their running backs to rank number 1 in rushing yards, number 1 in yards per carry, number 1 in rushing first downs, number 2 in EPA per rush, number 3 in success rate, number 3 in first downs or touchdowns per rush. It's truly wild. They had 3 running backs ranked top 20 in efficiency out of 69 qualifying running backs. And rookie Tyler Algier broke Atlanta's rookie rushing record last year. He ranked number 2 in the NFL in EPA per attempt among all running backs with 100-plus carries. His 3.6 yards after contact per carry ranked 5th. And among all rookie running backs since 2000, so that's 20-plus years, with at least 175 attempts, he ranked 9th in success rate. 9 out of 65 qualifying running backs. But sure, the team without a winning season in 6 years couldn't possibly need help anywhere else with a top 10 pick and drafted a running back. You're welcome, Corey. You could put that in your group chats. Now, with all that being said, I know why he did it. With all that being said, I know why he did it. That shit to me is still, and I'm still not going to shade them for it. So All of this is facts. All of this make points. Oh, he liked that for me. I mean, I'm on his page regardless, so I don't see who likes his stuff. But okay, if you've already used it, then okay. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. It's a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff here. All right, not that much there. Okay, let's go to Dove. Oh, we can just close that tab. Let's see. Anything new with Dove? Huh. Teams were turned off to Will Levis during the draft process, according to Mike Garofalo and Ian Rappaport. Where was this analysis? Like literally 24 hours ago. 24, 48, 72, 96. Where was this analysis 1 day ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago? Teams were turned off. What were they turned off by? Because he puts mayonnaise in his coffee? That he eats banana peels? What was the problem with Will Levis? And why didn't we hear about it? Let's see. No, I'm not. I won't play no games with that today. All right. Daniel Jeremiah had a good draft. Let's see what his best available is. He still has Will Levis, his best available. Michael Mayer at 20. Joey Porter. Keon White. Brian Branch. Darnell Washington. Joe Tipman. BJ. Okay. This is a very strong and deep class at edge. I had 8 of them in my top 32 prospects. We could see a few more come off the board in round 2. Again, I don't know if all these guys are actually edges, but I get it. I get it. Kincaid is the best tight end in this draft. I had him as my 9th overall prospect. Great value for Buffalo at 25. Okay. Zay Flowers reminds me of Steve Smith Sr., fitting he ends up in Baltimore. Okay. We already used it, but I'm crazy. I mean, look, fans are not. I mean, again, you know more so than others that using analysis and facts and data to thwart fandom is usually a losing proposition. I did it yesterday, and Ravens fans were mad at me. I used facts, data, and analysis, and I was called a hater. So it is what it is. And even Jeremiah, a bit of a surprise at 10, but Wright is very talented. That's not what you want to hear from a guy that's trusted for his analysis with the 10th pick overall. A bit of a surprise at 10. I'm telling you, Bears had a rough one, man. Bears had a rough one. Bijan Robinson's a top 10 player in this draft. Pitts, Drake London, and now Robinson, second year QB. Desmond Ridder certainly won't lack for options. I mean, if they're going to use him like Deebo Samuels, I think it's worth a top 10 pick. If they're going to use him in like I form or one back sets predominantly, and they're not going to split them out wide and do all the creative stuff, then yeah, then we can spin the block and talk about Bijan. Do we want to do the Pro Football Focus mock simulator? Let's see. This is round 2, right? Yeah, round 2. Okay. Oh, I got to subscribe? That's not happening. Okay. Sorry for that pump fake. Let's see. The best moves in round 1, according to them. The Cardinals trades, I agree. Jalen Carter picked at 9, yep. Devin Witherspoon, I do not agree. Smith-Njigba at 20, I agree. Dalton Kincaid at 25. Nolan Smith at 30, okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion there. Where's my guy? Forgetting how to spell his name. All right, we'll leave it alone. Elite first round grades, and the Eagles got 2 of them. Rich get richer. Okay, let's see what else we got. Go back. There we go. I can't believe that Irsay tweet is still up. Someone didn't take his phone from him yet. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that we're to believe is about Will Levis, but I don't know if we're rolling with that. 4 teams are currently engaged with the Steelers in attempts to trade up for the 32nd pick. Pittsburgh wouldn't trade the pick without receiving a strong offer. Allegedly, DeAndre Hopkins will not be traded, allegedly. See that here? DeAndre is a Cardinal, and we're moving forward. So Kyler Murray keeps his guy. Maybe Kyler Murray did a power play. Is it possible Kyler Murray did a power play? It said, not only are you not going to trade DeAndre, but you're going to go get me the offensive line I want. But here's a lot of substantial players who are still on the board. Yeah, it's a lot going on here. So these are allegedly best player available. I'll let y'all check that out. But it's real quiet on the timeline. It's still a Friday. So it could be that. Let's see what we have here. Let me see if there's anything that I'm missing here, because this might be a short stream today. Fridays are normally shorter streams anyway, but I thought maybe with the draft stuff going on, there might be some other stuff popping off. But as of right now, it's kind of quiet. It's kind of quiet. So, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so if you want a rundown of why the Lions lioned, here's a good rundown. Lions salary dumped Okudah 3 years after taking him over Justin Herbert. Jameis is suspended for gambling after missing most of his rookie year with ACL. They passed on Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith for a 3 running back rotation of Swift, 24 years old, Montgomery, 25 years old, Gibbs, and a 2-down linebacker in Jack Campbell that comes out on passing downs. It's a pretty good summary of the Lions lioning. And there's just an obligatory Jim Irsay shot. But yeah, that is another example of the Lions lioning. Yeah, it's quiet on the timeline. So we could be okay. No, that's not gonna do it. Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to wrap there, y'all, to keep it a buck with y'all. There's not much here going on. We did winners and losers. We talked about who is best player available on the clock. So, I think we have a lot there. I think we have enough there to get off to. I wish y'all a good weekend. I'm going to be dropping some clips throughout the weekend, so be sure to stay tapped in on the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, because I think what we're doing good content. We're building a sense of community here. This live stream is lit Monday to Friday from 4 p.m. until. We don't really have an end time. Just normally when the timeline slows down, when the chat slows down, all right, then we'll bow out. So it is Friday. Go ahead and turn up. I'll let y'all start y'all weekend early. I will catch y'all next week for a brand new episode, Monday, 4 p.m. Eastern, a new episode of Timeline T. We'll be recapping, I'm sure, more draft stuff. We'll finally get into some NBA playoff stuff, as now that the draft will be out the way, we can really tap into that. I'll be doing a live podcast this weekend as well. So that'll be right here on this channel and on the Elon app. So be tapped in for that. So for the Sam D, I'm Sid Disney Jr., Timeline T. Have a good weekend. Peace.